Yes, okay. Okay, hello and welcome to this very special interview in which we have in our company Professor Honorable Johnson Gwaikolo. He comes from Nimba County District number 9. He also the chairman on Rules, Order and Administration at the House of Representatives. Honorable Gwaikolo, it's good to have you on this interview, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
You have been called from your legislative break and you are back on Capitol Hill. How does it feel?
Well, it's just the continuation of the work. The call back cut our break short, the engagement with the constituencies a little bit shorter. So we are back to be here, and as the call of duty, there are some things that the president thought was important for us to act on without further delay. So we are back, and it's going all right.
Okay, we will go back to that topic, but the main reason for this interview, as we engage you, was this growing concern from the public regarding um, lawmakers using the same license plate in the case of Representative Clarence Carr and another lawmaker from the county representative Zaza, to be specific, using representative license plate number 22. And another case is District 7 Representative Solomon George using number 14. And his colleague ST Willie from Grand Bazaar is using number 14. What is happening?
Well, first of all, the our law requires that each vehicle uses two plates. That's the traffic law. And so there's one to be displayed in the front of the vehicle and one to be displayed at the back of the vehicle. No matter who you are, no matter what position you hold in office, in your job responsibilities. That's the very first thing. Then, secondly, we have two sets of license plates issued to the lawmakers. You have the official plate, which is from REP, at this point is from REP number one to REP number 73, because there are 73 representatives. The senators do likewise. The second set to that is the House of Representatives, one through, at this point, it is like 110. The REP is exclusively for elected officials, and the HOR is for 1 to 73 is for the utility vehicles or alternative vehicles for the lawmakers. Then the staff, a certain number of staff are required and are privileged to have those license plates, and so that's why it went up to more than 100. And so the plates are assigned based on either the committee you served in or your county representation. And so the issue of two vehicles, two different representatives using the same similar plate has been brought to our attention, for which we are doing an investigation to see how that happened. But at some point in time, the assignment of plates, after 3 years, it can be reviewed. The assignment of plates requires certain number of or certain lawmakers to be privileged to certain number of plates. In the middle of the tenure, when the decision was switched around, then those who may have plates that their other colleague is using got quote unquote used to the plate. And so we're having a difficult time retrieving that from them, which is, not appropriate. Having noticed that and being brought to our attention, we need to take that to leadership for leadership to make a decision on it. Another unfortunate thing is that even people from the 53rd, we are now in the 54th, but there are still license plates from the 53rd that, are being plied, used to plied on the roads of this country, which is totally wrong. We've called the attention of the national police on that situation before, and issue a warning and a directive to them that indeed, if they see those plates being used from the 53rd, they have the right, to go and seize it so that we cannot put them in a street anymore. So the particular situation that we just described, for which we are having this interview, certainly, will engage the leadership as to what action leadership can take, to remedy that situation.
Right. My concern here is you're supposed to go for your legislative break after this special sitting period, and you may be coming back either at the close of this year or the new year. And you have just limited time to go to election. Many people have been thinking that you just want let let this be because you're about to go to election. If you come back in the 55th, then you right all this wrong. And now you are talking about leadership taking a stand. How soon will we see this?
Well, we meet every Monday as a leadership. And
Okay.
so, yes, this coming Monday, it will be part of our agenda discussion because I'm going to, bring that up to the speaker so that he can place that on the agenda. But I know no harm, or the colleagues may think that this practice or this situation may not bring harm, but you won't know until it happens. And we don't want that to happen because if an incident occurs, for example, where there's a traffic violation, the first thing they will call for is the license plate.
Mm-hmm.
So who would that be? Because if two persons are using the same license plate, then that's wrong. You see, so we need to have corrective measures taken as quickly as possible instead of just waiting. There's no need for us to wait for wrong to continue because we have time limitation where we'll be going for elections. It will even be worse, out there in the field, where we may not have easy access to those who are out there, our colleagues who have to go far off to go in election year. So those things need to be corrected as quickly as possible.
Also, I don't want to give names here in this interview, but there are some lawmakers who are caught in this act of using, places that have been, already taken away from them and assigned new place. They have been, vehemently, opposing to taking the place from them. What you think is happening?
Well, that's one of the things that I refer to as inviting, ugly behavior onto yourself. You see, none of us as honorable people should create a condition for people to criticize us or for the law to be breached and violated. Yeah, as I indicated, the vehicles are assigned plates, per your, county or your committee you serve on. If for any reason changes are made, for which you are granted a new plate, you turn over the old one. There's no harm in that. It doesn't change you as an individual. It doesn't change your work that you do in your district or for the nation or at the Capitol building. It's just a matter of procedure. But so when police behave like that and the general public sees it, who do they come after? Us. Then why should we complain that the public is coming after us when we are inviting them to come after us in a negative way? You see, it's clear and simple. My attention has been being called to situations where our colleagues or some of our colleagues, whatever the case may be, they ply their vehicle with one license plate. Yeah.
That was my
If
next question. I was
yes,
about to ask you.
if the violation is carried out by others in society, we should not follow suit. Our vehicles should have, so we have two sets of license plates usable on two vehicles, not four. And that is wrong, and we need to take corrective measures.
Okay, now that you will be going back to your break, what are those programs to that digress from this topic we call you for? What are those programs on the plate for the people of District Number 9?
Well, thank you. The people of District Number 9, are benefiting from our leadership, and we too are benefiting from that cooperation where we're doing a lot of projects together. So there are a lot of projects that are still pending that we need to complete. First, we informed them. Some time ago, we presented our legislative report, in one of the towns called Gawi, and it went very well. The citizens were well in attendance and they appreciated what we did. But we have follow up in terms of the projects. There are market building constructions going on at the request, of our citizens. So we have to go and follow through and complete it. The district office is there; is nearly complete. We're just doing the tile work now. It needs to be completed fully and dedicated. The radio station has been upgraded. We need to dedicate that. The recording studio, for the young musicians in a place is also completed. It needs to be dedicated. A school building that we constructed from ground zero to where it is now, it needs to be painted and dedicated. Then the signature project, which is a ferry project that will cross a vehicle over the St. John River, is nearing completion. We've informed the maritime authorities to send, the inspection team there to make sure that it's seaworthy so that they can give us a certificate. And that's what we are waiting for to, dedicate it, and you all will be invited there. So those are some of the things that we'll be doing. What is important is for as many towns as possible, if not all, to feel our presence, not just our impact, but our presence. So those are some of the engagements we'll be doing to let our people know that indeed, we appreciate the fact that they gave us the opportunity, and that to give us feedback in terms of what we are doing, what we are not doing, and how we can come together and even perform better.
You mentioned several things, but two things, are of interest to me most because they were, a pharmacy. One, you talk about the radio station, and two, you talk about recording studio for young people. What gave you that special? What you think special attention need to be given to the young people? It is a desire to have a studio to make music or so.
Yes, the young people need to be nurtured. They need to find means by which they can develop and improve on their skills. And so we observe that there are a lot of musicians in Electoral District 9, and they usually go to other districts like Ganta District 1, or even Banga, or even come to Monrovia to do music. And so we encourage and say, well, look, we don't want to buy you a set, a musical set, but rather we want to build a station because a set will just make a DJ out of you. We want you to be a musician. So they accepted that we work along with them. We constructed it. And we are training one of them, one of the musicians from the district
to be engineer.
Yeah, to be engineer.
Wow.
Yes. And then, in fact, as we speak, they should be on their way, to the district with the engineers for him to observe, how the station is, how the setup is, so that he can go back and complete the training for the young man. So I'm excited about that because that's one way to prepare our young people to take on the leadership and develop their own talents and skills.
Okay. Will you be seeking re-election with all the developmental projects, running? Are you concluded or have you concluded with these projects or you need more time?
I will be running for re-election. Okay. I will be doing so because I believe we have set the stage and are in a momentum that we need to continue for one more term. Our election process in this country is when a new lawmaker comes in, there's a general tendency, not always, but a general tendency that they want to create their own things and move forward with it. So as a consequence, many of the developmental agenda that was put in place and not concluded are left unattended. Yeah. So in this particular case, our district is arguably one of the least in district number 9 in terms of development. And we have seen that we are working along with the citizens to move in that direction. So one more tenure, one more term, to work along with them will create, a better platform that others can come and build upon even more. So that's why we are seeking for a second term, and we hope that will be granted that second term. At the House itself, because representation matters too. That's one of the things we're supposed to do. Because of the representation, our performance here, we came from number 62 to number 7, which is now the Rules and Order and Administration Committee. And that's a good message for our people that indeed your representative has been climbing up in the leadership of the House, and that should be pride, to our people. So it should bring pride to our people.
So we want to take leave of you because you have busy schedule. I understand you have meeting on hand after session. So is there any other thing you want to say in this interview? Apparently we didn't ask.
Well, the thing I like to say is, and that's how I've intended to just to conclude my interviews these days, is a direct conversation with the young people of this country. Yeah, all of us, the lawmakers, have been experiencing, and even contestants, aspirants, I should say, have been experiencing insults and disrespect, from young people.
Mm.
And we say, no, you can't be angrier than us. So if my colleague or somebody who wants to unseat me misbehaves towards me, no, that's he and I. My young people who are behind me don't reciprocate,
Yeah.
and it's the same call to the others as well. Yeah, because and generally, the speech made by Dr. Brockling call for unity in our action, regardless of whether you are a man, woman, or you are a Christian, non-Christian, a Muslim, or non-religious person, or you from one party A or party B. What matters is we are under one flag. That flag symbolizes the sovereignty of Liberia, and so our actions should, complement one another. You see, and support one another to the extent that we can be proud that we are Liberians, regardless of what. The president also said that in the expression of your disappointment and anger, sometimes it turns out into violence. No, you can express your disappointment and your anger without being violent. You see, and so we are reiterating that so that we can have a peaceful nation, particularly as we go to elections 2023.
Right. Thank you so much, Professor Honorable Johnson Gwaikolo. We look forward to another interview where we expand on wide range of national issues for the benefit of the audience. Thank you again so much.
Thank you. Certainly, it was a pleasure being with you.
Okay, so that's all we have on this special interview with Honorable Professor Johnson Gwaikolo of Nimba County, District Number 9. My name is Haji Masale, bidding you farewell on this live.